start with the third problem of today's contest. This is basically Codeforces round 840, and the third problem is another array problem. You have been given t number of test cases. You have been given an int, yeah, telling the size of the array, and then you have been given this array. You need to tell what will be the maximum, sum of the final array. It's not like just you need to do sum. Basically, there is some operation that you can apply as many as time, zero or more times. You can apply it infinite number of times. You can choose two indexes I and j, and basically between all this range from I to j, for example, if you have chosen this complete range, or you can choose this range, basically, yeah, the subarray between I to j, you will change it to something like ai minus aj ka mod, right? If it's negative, we'll make it positive, yeah. So that's what you need to do. Then you need to tell what is the maximum value of the array, okay? Now this question can look a bit confusing, but how it boils down, it's very simple, right? It boils down to, if I just say, then it will boil down to whether the size of the array is basically what is your size of the array. Now let me tell you the logic behind the problem, okay? The logic behind the problem is that for you to maximize the sum of the array, okay, you want to maximize where it's written maximum the sum of all the elements. To maximize the sum of elements, what can be the absolute maximum? Like, for example, this is the and you are making some two integers, like not two integers, you are making one subarray, you are choosing one subarray and making the value of whole subarray equal to some particular element, like mine ai minus aj, something like that. So what could be better than making the complete array is equal to your max element? Because before yeah, after that there is nothing possibility to maximize the sum of the array, because you are selecting a particular range, and for that range you are giving it some value. It's not a random value. You are taking two elements from the array, and then giving their difference to all this range, basically. So for example, this 111, if you pick any range, the difference is always going to be zero. So you surely don't want to reduce your sum, so you will not choose that. But this 9 1, the difference is 8, and you can basically give these two the difference, like 8 8. So that's what you need to do. So basically it's so simple. For n is equal to 1, if your size is 1, that's return your answer. If your size is equal to 2, you have to compare between the sum which is given, like 9 plus 1, or 9 minus 1 is 8. Absolute of this is 8, and then 2 into that. So that's what you need to do. If I show you how what I'm saying, basically, if your n is equal to 2, you have to see out maximum between the current sum which is given, or otherwise you take the absolute difference between two and multiply it by 2. Okay, what happened? Yeah, what was the problem? Yeah. And now the basic thing, the logic behind this problem, that what I told you, that you can make it all the elements equal to max element. How you can make it, let me show you. For example, if you have can you make all the elements equal to the max element? This is the basically question. If you have three elements, let's say a0, a1, a2, so you can either select whole range, you can select this range, or you can select this range, basically any sub array you can select. What I'm saying you is that for making the complete array equal to a particular element, this is very important line, just listen to that. For making a complete array equal to a particular element that you want to make it, it would be the maximum that you want to make it to maximum. But let's take for any element. For example, if you want to make a complete array equal to a0 comma a0 comma a0, is it possible or not? It is possible only when you have two elements on a particular side, of this element. For example, a0 has two elements on its left side. So that's why this is possible. I'll show you how it is possible. Now, can you make complete array equal to a1? No, because there is no particular side where you have two elements of a1, right? So for example, on left side you have an element, or right side you have an element. So for a2, is it possible? Yes, because on the left side you have two elements. You want at least two elements for on a particular side, for making the complete array equal to that element. So now that brings down to the conclusion that yeah, we want to make it equal to maximum. For example, if a1 is equal to maximum in this case, okay, sorry, I can't make complete array equal to a1. But let's say if we have four elements, or greater than three elements, like 4 5 6 7 elements. Now choose anyone to be maximum, right? If a0 is maximum, yes, it have three elements on this right hand side, so we can make complete array equal to a0 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 a0. That would be the maximum sum, right? A0 repeating four times. Otherwise, does a1 have two elements on its one side? Yes, it have two elements on its this side, right hand side. So that's why it can also become a1 into 4. Can it become, basically this I'm talking about sum, or you can consider it as array also, like a1 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 a1, four a1s, right? And like this, a1 comma a1 comma a1 and so on. But can the array become equal to a2 into 4? Yes, it can be, because it have two elements on its left hand side. So a3 is obviously possible because three elements. So why I'm saying you want at least two elements, that I will show you. But before that, let's just be clear that after that, even a1, let's say a1 and a2, uh, yeah, it's easy to write it like this, right? A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. It's always possible because 5 have 4 elements on this side, 4 has 3 elements, 3 has 3 elements, this 2 even has 2 elements on this side, but this one has, 4 elements on this side, 0 has 5 elements on a particular side. It's always greater than 2. So yeah, you can make this complete array equal to any element which you want. So that's good. So the answer for the, any number, any array which has length greater than 3 would be very simple, because you will make every element equal to max element. So answer for any length greater than 3 is equal to max into n. This n equal to 1, it's understandable, because n is equal to 1, then your max is the only element, and n is equal to 1. So that's the answer satisfied for this as well. But why I'm saying you need at least two element, now let's see. Okay, yeah, that's the whole problem. And why 3 can't be, you can't in 3, why you can't, there is special case for 3. You can't make it completely equal to 3 into max, because yeah, you can't make it, because if a1 becomes the max, then it's not possible, because it doesn't have, two elements on this any side. Now let's talk about this. For example, you have four elements like this: a1, a2, a3, a4, sorry, a0, a1, a2, a3, and you see that a0 is equal to a maximum element. Okay. Okay, and let's say this is a three size array a0, a1, a2. You want to make complete array equal to a0. How you can make it? You will perform operation on these two elements. Consider I is equal to this, j is equal to this, and what will you do? You will make it absolute of a2 minus a1, ai minus aj बोला था ना उसने, कुछ भी बोल लो क्योंकि absolute है तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Absolute of a1 minus a2. So this basically, if I expand it, it would look something like this. Oh, what I did. You know, this a1 becomes this a2 becomes this, because that's what you can do now. This a2 becomes this a1 becomes this. If I choose a value of I and j as this, like I is equal to this, j is equal to this, you'll choose this subarray, you'll calculate difference, absolute difference, and then you'll give it. And a0 is compact, like in its place, a0 is a0. Now what you'll do, you will apply operation again on considering the same I and j. Just want these two elements, just these two elements. Now the difference between these two is 0, so it will make it something like this: a 0, this will become 0, and this will become 0, because difference between these two is 0 now, so that's why it will become 0. Now if you perform any operation between, maybe let's say you consider operation this, so the difference between a0 and 0 is a0, and a0 into 3 will become a0. So that is same thing with a2. You can do like over here, a2 can do, you can choose ij as 0 and 1. Over here you will have a0 minus a1, something like that. Yeah, and a1 minus a0, something like that. Absolute लगा सकते हो. But for example, let's take any a0, a1 minus, sorry, a0 minus a1 again. The, it's not important that what it will become. It will become a0 minus a1 or a1 minus a0. It's the only thing that important is that it will become x, so it will also become x. When I apply operation on these two numbers, so this will become xx, so this will become same number. And when I do again operation on the same numbers, same index, x and x minus x is 0, so in the next time it will become, both will become 0, irrespective of what was the value of a0 and a1. So answer is always going to be a2, right? Because if you apply operation on a2, like, then you can, if a2 was maximum, then you would like to convert it like this, right? Then a2 into 3, that's the answer. But this cannot be possible for a1, because if you, for example, make this I, you cannot have something like j over here. Only thing what you can do with a1 is like, you can choose like these two, and you can get something like this xx, and then both will become same. Other, if you do apply operation again on this xx, then answer will become 0 0 and a to a0 into 3. Otherwise what you can do, you can pick one this with a0, okay. That is basically the possibilities, that is about the what is the possibility that you can generate from 3. That is me discussing like what will be the answer for when a is equal to 3, sorry, when size equal to 3. But but the important part is completed, that if the size of the array is greater than 4, then it's no worries that you can have these two indexes I and j. Or basically the point was that to prove that you can convert every array to like its maximum element repeating every time if you have something like these two indexes adjacent. So you should have adjacent these two elements. So this is basically logic, or basically proof of what I was saying, to to prove that yeah, this is actually possible. Because if you have two elements, then you can make it like the it equal to the third element, right? Whole array equal to third element. So that's about the proof. So it's simple for test cases like when n is greater than 3. That's why you have to do just max into n. And if n is equal to 2, it's very simple, like I just told you. You either choose the initial sum or just choose the difference into 2. For n equal to 3, this becomes interesting because mm, yeah, because there are various possibilities like a0, a1, a2. So first possibility is obviously given in the question, that sum, let's take sum is equal to apply no operation, a0 plus a1 plus a2, right? Another possibility which I told you, that okay, you can make it complete equal to a0 or complete equal to a2. So it will become a0 into 3, or otherwise it can become a2 into 3, okay. Now what are the other possibilities? There are two more other possibilities, which is something like if you apply operation on this a1 and a2, you will get something like xx, right? Because if you apply operation on this complete array I and j, there is also possibility. Basically you have to consider these two indexes I and j and generate all the possibilities. First of all, you can have I and j like this. Then you can have I and j like complete I and j. Or if you have I and j in like this, that's why I told you that you will get something like xx, right? Let's say you are getting x from here, x from here. Now if you do again operation on same ij, you will get a2 into 3. That's we have discussed. But if you apply operation on x on this a2, right, because you have two elements on particular side, so you can apply operation at least, right? So this will convert into something like x dash and x dash, right? Let's say it converts to x dash, and it will convert to, why the values are not important, or maybe it is important when you write it. Or what is the value of x? Someone asks you what is the value of x. X is equal to absolute of a0 minus a1. Simple. What is x dash? X dash is equal to absolute of x minus a2. What is x? X is written over here. You can copy paste it down over here. So it's looking complicated, but it's not that complicated for computer to calculate all this, right? So that's about it. It will become like, okay, so this is basically me explaining what is x, and this. Now after that, this is x, this is double x dash, right? Now if I apply operation on these two, this will become equal to 0. So this is basically me showing that what are the other possibility. Other possibility is to have x into 3, right? Like this will remain x, which is x is basically this. uh yeah, other possibility will be if you again apply operation on the complete array, on this array or this array, you will get x into 3. This is the again possibility. Or otherwise the this same thing can happen on these two indexes. This will become x x, and this will be a0. And when you apply the operation of 1x with this a0, these two will become x dash, something like that happens, okay? This is x dash and this is x dash, and this was previous x. And then you can make it equal to, okay, let's take y, because otherwise you'll get confused, right? But why to get confused? It's so simple, like it's so simple. You're just generating all the possibilities, and it's not like all the possibilities you can do it without doing this also. The basic logic was this, key, okay, a0 and a2 can be multiplied by 3, so that's what max I can take. From a1 I cannot multiply it by 3, but what are the possibilities coming from a1 is something like a0 my a1 minus a0 mod. Whatever I've taken, like a1 minus a0 mod, I've stored in x, and this x can be a possibility. Otherwise this y can be a possibility. This is basically me proving that y is a possibility, like is a yeah, it can be possibility. So in this case, y dash and y dash will again become 0 in next point, and in the last point it will become, y into 3. So that's about it, yeah. So सबसे पहले first step of problem was to realize that if you have size greater than 4, then for every element you have at least two adjacent elements on a particular side, so answer is max into n. This was the 90% of the problem. This was just 1% of the problem. n equal to 2 तो तुम देख के ही बता सकते हो. n equal to 3, it's not that tough, but yeah, you can calculate it. This is तो completely simply तुम्हें आ जाएगा because इस logic के through. एंड ये तुम निकाल सकते हो बाय लुकिंग एट द A1 के थ्रू आ क्या रहा है, लाइक द मिडिल एलिमेंट के थ्रू ओनली दीज टू थिंग्स कैन कम, right, nothing else. And this was the original answer, and you can test it out basically. Control plus C, control plus submit code, submit. Long video, man, but yeah, good question, accepted. Okay guys, we'll cover D in another video. Okay guys, bye.